and milk him for all he's got. Hey.
Alright.
Let's
do some D&D. So, a lot of things happened last time, but also not a lot of things happened. You guys started the session in the middle of a big fight, and while it was supposed to be this reasonably light-hearted fisticuff brawl, Arwen got a little bit beat up and decided to pull a knife and stab a guy.
I did that.
She then surrendered and was subsequently arrested, which resulted in an impromptu jailbreak by Stix and Klari. Klari did in fact win the fisticuffs brawl, however surrendered the victory to a rather starved and beleaguered looking tiefling, who later thanked her profusely and gave her a little bit of information about what seemed to be happening in the desert. His clan and possibly some others had come under attack by a number of undead. After breaking Arwen out, you guys hid in the woods for the night before returning to the village, where you were encouraged to give up the location of Arwen, who was currently disguised as a cat, before promptly leaving with Byro on his boat that morning. Unsure whether or not you had been rumbled but allowed to leave anyway, as you were potentially more trouble than you were worth.
Us? Trouble? No.
And it is there that we begin our session. On the sunny morning that it is, sailing gently downriver, the trees of the woods fairly thin around you, occasionally encroaching onto the banks, but as you start to get towards the forest proper, occasionally pulling back and revealing still large stretches of landscape stretching out before you, giving you views of taller trees in the distance as the hills rise. And the only thing that really stands out is a quite impressive tree standing high above the others, so a ways off to the side of the river, certainly not in the direct path of where the river's flowing at the moment, but it does stand probably a good 50 or so meters above everything else. This is quite an enormous tree, but it is several miles off at this point. And the morning slowly passes. Is there any conversation that anyone would like to be having?
Yes.
Or is there a rather stout silence amongst you all?
Nope, I'm not silent. Fucking Arwen! There was one rule, maybe two. Two rules, and you decided to break it. Now I'll admit, I broke one of them. That's fine, but mine didn't get anyone nearly killed. Yours did. You stabbed a guy and walked off. No. That.
No.
I used to
the
like
cat form. You are shouting at a cat.
I'm just gonna stick my hand over the edge of the thing, and then throw cup some water and then throw it at her. Bad kitty. And that is, and that's all I have to say on the subject. But I'm silent, I'm glaring. Whenever you try to interact with me, I'm purposely just going.
It's funny because like Clary's still just scowling at Stix all the time.
There's a big circle of scowling going on.
Wait, who's Neo
I'm
scowling?
just hoping someone will stroke my head.
Pardon?
I'm just hoping someone will stroke my head.
That's probably unlikely to happen given how it seems like your companions are feeling. However, there is one person on the boat that doesn't really know you're a cat. Well, just thinks you are a cat, doesn't know you are who you are. Standing at the back of the boat is this old human, sort of greying hair, weathered skin. His biro just sort of humming to himself as he slowly sort of leans on the tiller. And
Okay, no, I'm still mad at you. I was rolling a wisdom save to see if the cuteness of you being a cat overwhelmed me, but no, I'm still.
Ow. I am the cutest cat.
so
Right.
a couple more hours. Well, a couple of hours pass, and by now, when you start to the time you can remain a cat wears off, and you revert back into yourself. And there's a startled shout from the back of the boat, just this sort of, "Wah!" And you feel the boat jerk, and you look to see that Byro is sort of where he was like casually leaning, sort of half leaning on the tiller. He's slipped and pushed it all to the side, and it's like sort of dragged it back as the boat like turns in the water, and the boom just like swings across. Suddenly, we will duck as it swings over your head through a creaking sound and the snap of the sails. There's this sort of, oh, blimey, what? Oh, how? Sorry, and look out! As he corrects the boat and the boom swings back the other way again. You duck again as it goes over and the boat resumes its course.
Why is it called a boom? In my experience.
Does Leo still got Hugo?
Yes.
Can I have him back, please?
You having reverted back to human form, Hugo would probably make his way back to you.
If you were to
Yay.
when you were a cat, would he morph into you?
No, because he is a creature.
Hmm.
He rides on my back.
He's about the same size as you.
He rides on my back. And I ride on his. We share.
It's like that thing when you've got like a small child trying to pick up a slightly smaller child.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, you know it's a terrible idea, but you know what? There are more responsible adults about who are going to stop this, and you're just going to watch that because that looks like it's going to be hilarious.
Absolutely.
Or it's like when something starts going wrong and you're like, an adult should probably sort this out. Oh no, I'm an adult. So you start looking around for a more adulty adult.
I am not a qualified adult.
After
I
a
did
couple
not pass the adult test.
Arwen is no longer a cat. And you spot a couple of shapes moving through the trees off to one side of the river. A little bit, the sun has been hidden by the clouds and it's got a little bit greyer overhead, and the shadows cast down. Just can't quite make out initially what these shapes are moving through the gloom. You just spot a couple of them to begin with, but you think you can see a ways back more of them moving through.
The trees are moving.
No,
Like walking. Oh,
no, there is something moving in amongst the trees.
not in the trees. Okay.
And a few more minutes go by, and you're watching the bank, and then ahead of you, you see, having broken through the tree line, standing on the water's edge, heads dipped low, a handful of very large, very shaggy cattle have approached the river and are drinking from it. And as you watch,
I love
more
the
and more
cow.
them reach the riverbank and spread out in a long line, you can see now, maybe sort of 200 yards of shore, there are plenty of cattle. The ones who got there first already seem to be turning away as more take their place.
Do we see the alpha cattle?
Make a perception check for me.
The alpha cow. Better get John. Oh, nice.
17. So, all the cattle are generally sort of light, sort of orangish brown colour, and you spot what you assume is this huge bull. He seems to be maybe sort of 2 inches, 3 inches higher at the shoulder than the others. Horns maybe 6 inches longer. Fur much darker, sort of lumbers his way through, sort of pushing a couple aside and dips his head to drink. And as you watch, approaching, you see another one of a similar size and colour approach from behind him, and there is this lowing sort of and for surprising speed for a cow, this large bull whips around and looks at it, and it has his own low answering as
That was a very good cow. That was a very good cow impression.
the two, and you see it staring at each other, and they lower at each other a few more times before you start to see, as you're slowly drifting towards them, the back legs of each of them start pawing at the ground, and the cattle around them have started to move, and you get a clear view as the cattle separates down the bank as these two, and then all of a sudden, without warning, as if by some unspoken symbol, they both lurch towards each other, and there's this heavy sort of through the earth as several tons of fleshy cow charge each other, and there is this colossal thump as they both, and like almost like crack of horns as they collide, and they both dig in heads low, like pushing at each other. And as they do so, the cattle around them become more agitated. You see some of them start lifting their heads and calling out as well. These slightly higher sort of echoes through the forest from many, many voices. And some of them start moving away. And as you watch these two huge forms locked together, something seems to give, and the one initially by the water's edge that you see is still slightly larger, tosses its head to the side and almost pushes the other one past, and then brings its head back, and there is this great gout of blood you can see as they rush past each other, and the larger one digs its horns in, and there's this spray of blood as it cuts into the side of the other one. And they both spin around again. The one slashed across the side is almost limping, the rear leg not touching the ground as it sort of hops around. And circling around to face each other, there is this charge, and the weakened one tries to meet it, but doesn't have the power. One leg crippled now. It's charged down and knocked off its feet. And again, there's this, you feel it almost through the bottom of the body, huge whoomph, as this several tons of bovine hits the forest floor. Now there is a distinct agitation amongst all the other cows. You can sense it, and distracted by this noise, you finally look up as a shadow descends across the clearing, and with a great this huge red winged creature dives down and pounces on the body of the cattle that's been tossed, this huge bull that's been tossed to the floor, and the cows in the clearing start going ballistic. These orcs, as they are, just start stampeding. Some of them disappear away from the water's edge. Some of them panic, rushing into the water. Ripples and waves being splashed up all around you as they start trying to desperately swim across. The one cow that was still standing almost sees this as a new challenge, and you can see it had walked 15-20 feet away as this thing comes in, but almost turns to face it again and charges towards it. The rock with the large body clutched in its talons starts beating its wings, dust being kicked up as it does so. It slowly tries to rise into the air, but it doesn't quite make it off the ground before this bull, its horns raised, skewers the body of the other bull hanging below it. Again, more blood sprays out of it, and you can see it's got red now dripping from its horns, and it kind of tears it free. The rock's claws leaving long gouges in this dead creature's flesh as it's ripped free from its grip and tossed to the ground. The rock spinning around and pouncing on this other bull now from above, driving down, its beak snapping at its neck from behind. The bull charges into the water, thrashing around, trying to toss it off. As it hits the water and this great spray comes up, the rock takes flight again, whirling away from the spray of water, and flies up above the trees. There's a few moments of quiet, of calm. The sound of the cows sort of fading as they disappear off. There's still a few sort of left in the water, and then the shadow crosses the clearing again, and just on silent wings, this figure just drops down onto the sort of tattered form of this deceased bull, grips it once more in its talons, and again tries to scavenge it away, lifting it to fly off.
We're a cow fight club.
Why did the other cow go after the big bird? What a stupid cow.
I don't know.
Big stupid cow.
Well, I better know what that eagle said.
And then
Better swoop down and went, stop! Nobody move!
but
Just continue. Alright. We're like away now. Let's say
you guys have sort of watched this thing happen, then almost sailed past it, and then have turned. To imagine you've all sort of watched this from the front of the boat, and then as you've gone past it, you've all shuffled down the boat and are now all watching from the back as this figure, this huge creature, flapping hard. And make a perception check for me.
Ooh.
everyone or just one?
Anyone?
Alright. Roll well today. Ooh, she was just getting things open. And then she's moving on down. Perception. 1. Oh shit.
So, Arwen and Klari, and possibly Stix, once it's pointed out to you, notice that as this rock is taking off, it seems to be struggling, and you can see down one side of it, mixed into the sort of darkening the red and blue of its feathers. Down one side, you can see what looks like a large open wound where potentially when the bull was ripped out of its claws, its head sort of whipped around, sort of ragdolling, and caused this big cut in the side of it. And it seems to be quite laboured in the way it flies.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Well,
How big is it?
Maybe sort of 20 feet nose to tail.
How many people could sit on it?
3, probably. Well, you could probably comfortably fit 4 people on it. It's probably not strong enough to fly with that many people on it. But you could probably fly with 2 or 3 on it.
you just wait. One day we'll have Hugo or Big. We'll have Elvis winged. We'll never touch the ground again. It'll be great. But we'll just play the floor is lava for eternity.
From beside you, the back of the boat, you hear this quavering voice. What on earth kind of thing was that?
That's called a rock. But not like a rock. Like a rock.
And not the rock.
And not the rock.
The
But
legend of that famous golem knight. The rock.
yeah. Not the rock, not a rock, but a rock, as it were. It's a big bird, basically, is what we're able to ascertain, and it really likes eating cows. That's about.
So as long as you're not a cow, you're fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay. Yes, Arwen, maybe don't turn into a cow.
Oh yeah, I wasn't planning on it.
Cool. Okay, I was gonna say that could be bad. Dangerous.
Where would something like that have come from? It's these. I mean, do you think it builds a nest?
Yes, in very big trees.
Yeah, probably. If it's like, I'm assuming it's like most of the birds, so yeah, I would assume it probably builds a nest. I don't know where, but
Maybe it's in a mountain.
oh, maybe. Wait, there's no mountain near here.
No, but they can fly.
I don't think
I
it
know
fly.
that
Would it really like we've seen it come around this place a lot? Would it really come like this far for some cows? I feel like it's
Maybe it's just good cow.
yeah. Maybe these are really really good cows. Well, some of them aren't cows. Other they're like aurochs. So
Maybe it's really good auroch.
maybe. Although you got to be careful of bad aurochs because that's just an orc, and that's just. Okay. Interesting.
If you want to try and work out where it's likely to be, you can make a nature check.
Oh, I'm good at these. goody at nature. Where's the nature? I'm good at these. Not.
So yeah, Stix. Based on that, you can make the assumption that most places are not going to be great for a creature of this size. Arwen's idea of mountains is not terrible. It's like makes sense, like high up places and sort of remote. And most, like, the average tree is certainly not going to hold it. But you are in a forest which contains some abnormal trees as well.
This is true. Oh my god, there was that massive tree that we saw. But wait, can we still see that?
Yeah, you've actually drifted much closer in the last couple of hours to it. You can see, in the gaps where the trees are not pressing quite so close to the bank, you can see this thing now maybe a mile away, you estimate, from your current position.
Maybe it's there. I guess we'll find out. Won't we?
I mean, if you
Hope we don't find out. Well, I hope we do find out that it's not there, is what I mean.
do you want to go looking for it?
Do we?
Do you?
No. I don't want to die.
Then no.
Awesome.
I mean, if
Go
it
on.
tries to eat us,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to want to eat us, so it's
Well-
okay.
Yeah. We're fine. We're fine.
Another couple of hours pass. The sun rises high in the sky. The clouds that have drifted over it during the morning are burned off a little bit, and are now, rather than being grey, are these sort of white, lit from behind by the sun. Fluffy clouds. You can see a few patches of blue appearing. And around this time, Byro steers the boat over towards the bank. He's like, well, at my best guess, this is about as close as the river runs. Bye?
Go back then.
Yeah. Oh, bye.
As you see, he sort of seems to be a bit distracted. He hasn't really got over this experience, and he's spent a lot of time looking up rather than looking at where he's going.
You know what? That's fair. See you later, Byro. Catch you around sometime. Probably not. Let's face it, it's a big world.
And we're never going back to that place.
Yeah, we're probably not going back to that village. So...
No,
He was from a
never.
different village.
Oh, okay. Well, if we happen to pass the village that you're going to, we'll come find you if we need any sailing help. Obviously, might look for other people first, but you'll be in the running.
Can I write him down?
Thanks very much. Wait, do we need to pay Byro? We've already paid him, haven't we? Yeah, you're fine.
I believe you paid him before you left.
Excellent. Then, yeah. See you later, Byro. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. You guys disembark, splashing through
This poor man.
the shallows at the edge of the river. This is... I mean, do you want to make an insight check?
Inside.
Oh, my insight's not very good.
Inside.
11. Yeah, this is
No.
possibly a man that has never left more than like 10 miles from where he was born. And you guys have, sailed with him quite a long way now, and he's encountered some things he really didn't know existed, and well, you guys disembark and start pushing your way through the trees. You reckon you're not too far away from the city by now, and with Arwen's proficiency in navigating in wooded terrain, you can probably find your way. Just everyone roll a quick survival check for me, just in case.
Wait, oh fuck! Oh yeah!
I thought that 8 was mine then. I was like, no. I refuse.
Survival check! Yes, you have to beat an 8. Hey!
Yeah. So yeah, you guys find your way very quickly. Arwen, Klari, and Neo all sort of like start walking with a purpose in one direction, and Stix is like, "Isn't it that way?" And everyone just sort of turns their head and is like, "No." oh, okay.
I'm distracted. I'm in the forest. I'm talking to animals. I haven't cast Speak with Animals. I'm just talking to them randomly.
That's fair.
Hello, birds.
Hello, birds.
bees.
Hello, deer. Hello, bear. Oh, it's a bear. Oh, no. Fine. It's just back with him.
So you guys make your way through, travelling for another couple of hours. It starts getting later in the afternoon, and the sun has come out, and these sort of orange rays start shining on angle through gaps in the trees. At which point you spot a small group of 5 or 6 elves walking through the trees, bows held loosely at their sides. A couple of them with spears, a couple of them with short swords on their hips.
Oh crap. Klari, Neo, hide.
How far away from Ithamel are we? Is it? Wait, are we good?
You reckon you're getting
Yeah.
pretty close now?
Oh, I mean, actually,
Are these people from there? Does it look like? Like, do they have some sort of armour or something that looks Ithemelian? Do I get advantage because I've been there before? No. Worth a try.
So, from this distance, you can make out that they all seem to be similarly dressed in like trousers and jerkins, greens and browns, that seem to be cut in a similar style, almost like a uniform, you could say.
okay, instead of guards. Maybe. Well, that's potentially helpful. Or maybe not. It depends what
Or they're
we
just
really-
annoying.
Yeah, or they're just slightly bothersome.
Mm. Let's just proceed like we're meant to be here.
Yes, confidence is key, everybody. Just walk with confidence and charisma, and you'll be fine.
Neo turns to 6. How does one walk with charisma?
You walk charismatically.
Could you demonstrate?
Oh god.
Absolutely, me old chum. See, it's just
Up you
like regular walking, but then you divine smite. No, sorry, it's just it's just regular walking, but with a smile on your face, a spring in your step, and hold on, a smile on your face, a spring in your step, and you just do a quick cartwheel, which works. I don't do a cartwheel. I just have a smile on my face and a spring in my step. And now I try a cartwheel. And it works! I'm so glad that worked. And that is what
Stix's energetics do seem to have charismatically brought everyone to the attention of this approaching group.
Oh god.
And with your eyes on Stix, they managed to make it within sort of 20 feet of you. And there's a shout of, or a call out to you of, who goes there?
That's a very good question. Who does go there? Who might you be?
Is this a riddle?
One of us is lying. The rest of us no. One of us tells the truth. The others are lying.
I am Heatherford, the captain of this guard.
Heatherford.
Well, Heatherford, it's really, really nice to meet you. And it was lovely to meet you, but unfortunately, we have some business to attend to. Quite pressing matters to attend to. So, we don't really have time for introductions. I'm very, very sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but
We've got places to be.
yeah, we need to get the Ithamel as quickly as possible. Yeah.
What business do you have there? And you can see all the 5 elves have adopted a semi-combative stance. They have, several of them have drawn arrows and have them loosely knocked in a position of readiness.
Well, that's really good question. We have business with what was her name again?
Lady Verona.
I was thinking Lady Verona, and I thought, no, it's not Lady Verona. It's the orc woman from up top. That's I thought that was the orc woman from up top. No, it's not. Yes, we have extremely important business with Lady Verona, and we absolutely need to see her right away. We are friends of hers, or associates rather.
What is the nature of your business with her ladyship? Why would she want to see you? And as she says,
I saved her daughter once.
As she says this, she casts her eyes not at Stix and Arwen, but over Neo and Klari.
You racist fucks. Well, she.
I saved her daughter.
At this point, one of the younger-looking elves at the back steps forward and goes, "She's telling the truth. I was there when they arrived the first time, Mom. Let her ladyship will probably want to see them." Heads.
Boom.
Very well. But on your head blade, blinking sock.
Ah, good old blinking sock.
Blinking sock. I feel like I was this. I
I
would.
don't think I actually knew. I can't remember. But it sounds like a great name.
I feel like I remember someone called Blinking Sock.
Well, seeing as somewhat. Seeing as someone will vouch for you, then allow us to escort you. And
Ooh, personal God.
Moving up in the world, guys. Our own god. Look at this.
I'm not exactly sure that's what's happening.
I think it is. I think that they've heard of our greatness and they want to stick around. Jokes.
Yes.
Cool. If you wish to follow us there, of course we could use the company. Yeah, let's.
yeah, the captain of the guard fixes you with a steely look, Stix, and kind of distrusting. Says, "Well, yes, we shall escort you to your destination. Wouldn't want you to go wandering off and get lost. Now, would we?"
No, we certainly wouldn't want to get lost, would we? Oh, just give him a look in. Give him a look in return. But Yeah.
He just turns around and starts walking off, and the other elves sort of separate into two groups, spreading out a little bit, giving you a space to walk. In between her and the two of them, and giving you a reasonable berth of space to walk along comfortably and converse without them being right up beside you.
I see.
Everyone lapses into a uncomfortable silence for a little while.
I love uncomfortable silences.
The group starts out striding along with sort of almost an agitated purpose before everyone seems to recover themselves and relax somewhat, and moves at a slightly more sedate and more natural pace than the hard march.
So, where were you guys headed? Where were you people headed?
We again, the nervous voice sort of slightly off to the side behind you. As we were just patrolling.
Just patrolling. Interesting. Very interesting. That do seem a little bit dodgy. Can I potentially make? No. I feel like I probably wouldn't. Where exactly were you patrolling? Well, not where exactly. Like, I don't want to know, like, your exact whereabouts. But like, where were you like patrolling around?
Just patrolling around the borders of the city and things. Mm-hmm. There's been a slight increase in monstrous activity around.
Monstrous activity.
The captain of the guard turns around and sort of snaps back over there. Don't tell them anything until we've verified who they are.
Unfortunately, you've already told.
Undead.
Yeah. What exactly do you mean by monstrous activity? I'm sure Lady Verona can probably vouch for us. We're pretty good at dealing with monstrous activity. What exactly is it you mean?
Kind of just sort of gives a nervous look towards his captain, sort of just sighs and goes, "Oh, I suppose the cat's out of the bag now, isn't it? Anyway."
I was never in a bag.
I was just trying to think of a way. Oh god.
He drops back and starts walking along beside you. So, very well. There has been a recent increase in sort of monstrous activity is the easiest way to describe it. There is a number of some people are attacked by beasts and other things in the forest from time to time, travellers on the road, what have you. Reports have increased, as well as an increase in the number of, her eyes flick towards Neo, visitors to our land, who we have had to turn away and repel.
What do you mean visitors? Like visitors who?
Visitors
Like refugees?
Tieflings.
Or-
like him. He points at Neo.
Ah,
The
okay.
ones that are running away, probably.
Yes,
Occasionally one of
we've heard of these
come
people.
this way, seeking some claim to come for trade, some claim to be lost. But there's been a significant increase in their visitations. We've had to escort an increasing number beyond our borders.
Tell us more about the. So we have heard of these tieflings being or trying to flee their land. Tell us more. Do you have any specifics on the monsters per se? The monstrous activity you were talking about. Any idea on like what type, where exactly they are found, or any ideas on numbers?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm good at these, I think. Well, I'm good at these, sort of.
Despite her initial wariness, she seems to be warming up to you, Stix. And opens up a little bit more and is, well, there was several bodies found quite close to the city, to the west. Indeed, upon inspection, they bore savage wounds. Those of some of our rangers were most perplexed, unable to recognise them. I mean, any ranger of Islamel worth their salt can tell you every bird and beast within 100 miles of here. Well, almost any ranger. And she casts a disparaging look towards Blenkinson.
Can we adopt him?
If you want to take him off my hands, by all means.
That's so rude. And I know because I'm rude.
Rather rude.
Yes, it is quite a mystery, and so her ladyship ordered increased patrols, but unfortunately after several weeks we have not seen any evidence of what we are looking for.
Hmm. Huh. This.
What are you looking for?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Something unnatural, something that doesn't fit, something that would wound in such a way.
Something undead?
would still need to find the thing.
So I guess no.
Whether it is dead or not, we don't know what it is.
The bodies have been showing up of different people or things, and they're from all over the place. And now you're looking for something to connect these bodies. You're looking for like a monster or creature or something to. Essentially, the reason why they're popping up. Okay. Well, good luck on that one. Have any of these tieflings that have arrived? Have they said anything? Have any of them spoken about sort of why so many of them are coming here, or anything like that?
I'll have to speak to her ladyship about that when we get there, if you are permitted to enter. Otherwise,
We're very
we may have the
permitted.
pleasure of your company for a few more days as we escort you out.
Lovely. Well, I'm sure it won't come to that. We are good friends with Lady Brown. Good friends indeed. As my friend has said, she saved her daughter, and we've good standing in this town. At least she does. I was here very briefly. And he does. Look at him. He helped save her daughter too. So,
Besties.
yeah. So, okay. Thank you for the information. That might be quite useful. We'll continue on the way.
So it takes maybe an hour from when you encountered this group, and you start to see the signs that you are familiar with for an Arwen city. Houses and things like that grown out of the land itself. Walls made from tree branches and things grown and woven together, still living. You've got a couple where branches have been grown and it almost seems like the earth has been raised up, and they've got these oblong buildings with grass on all sides. Others where vines and flowers and things make up the walls, and you start to recognize things from several months ago when you were here, eventually arriving at this large manor house made from a number of tall trees standing in the corners, their branches reaching up, forming an apex roof at the top, others reaching across and entwining with each other to form supports and trusses you can see from the outside to support this incredibly large structure. It's here your group is halted, and one of them is dispatched with a couple of quick words from the captain of the guard. They rush off up and the door from the distance where you are. The door is shortly opened for them. They are admitted inside, and then pause, waiting. 5 minutes. 10 minutes.
Is there a spinny chair I can sit on?
Not in the open forest, no.
Can I summon Elvis? And then...
Can I spin on Elvis?
Okay, yeah. Get on Elvis. Elvis, spin.
Whee!
So,
Just does circles. Walks in a circle.
yeah, it takes you about 10 minutes, and as you summon Elvis, and he erupts. Well, what does it look like when Elvis arrives?
I sort of imagine it as like he almost like grows out of the ground. So like when I summon him, if it's like me casting the spell, I almost like do all the incantations and stuff, and then I almost like pull up with my hand, and from there he almost like all the leaves and twigs and everything grows, and then the leaves like so then it's almost like how you see those things where it's like like a person's like bones and then flesh and then skin and stuff. It's like so like the branches grow to be like his bones, and then slowly all the leaves grow.
Sit yourself down, Stix, to start casting this spell, and as you do so, you start to softly chant almost akin to singing, the way your mentor taught you. And from the ground, from these 4 points rise, you see little sort of just breaking the surface of the earth, these little almost like roots popping out. They just start to grow, little shoots, and then they grow up and they form together and they start branching out. And over the course of 10 minutes, these 4 shoots shoot out of the ground and grow together, and you can see they start to form and take shape of the body, and then extending towards their head. And after maybe 8 or so minutes, you have the form of Elvis. And as you approach the end of this long sort of incantation, leaves and flowers and things start to bud and open up, covering the flanks of Elvis.
Hey, buddy!
Before, with a final lingering note, Elvis just lifts his hooves free of the earth and snorts and shakes his head, and there's this rustle of akin to the wind through trees, and looks down at you with his intelligent green eyes.
Hey, buddy. How's the Feywild? Okay, Elvis. Oh my god.
Yeah, you have Arwen mount up on this sort of like 8 foot up to this elk shoulder.
Spit. And he just starts
almost like a dog chasing its tail. And Arwen, you almost have to sort of duck to one side as the head spins around and a huge rack of antlers turns towards you, and you like grab wrap your hands around these sort of the leaves and twig-like bones that form. It's almost like roots on the surface of the earth. The way the vines and the wood is sort of like carved on the external surface of Elvis, giving you all these like knobbly handholds to hold on to, Stix. When you like grab these as he spins around, and all this time, the group has been watching you. And there's just this like awed amazement from them. And, as they watch this process happen, and as you've all been watching Stix do this, there is suddenly there's suddenly a sort of just a soft clapping behind you, and turning around you can see this tall woman stood there in pale dress, in one arm holding a sleeping child, her hands sort of softly. There's a fine trick. Welcome.
Hi.
Well,
Stop spinning.
Thank you, Captain. I shall take it from here. These are indeed welcome guests.
Told you.
hell yeah.
Would you like to come inside?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And you are invited up into the manor.
Elvis, wait down here. Good boy. His picks it up in his mouth, and when we're all gone, just drops it back on the floor because he can't eat anything.
You all enter slowly behind Lady Verona, and she leads you in. You follow a familiar staircase up to the upper floors, where through a set of ornately carved wooden doors you enter the familiar room of a study. She walks over to one side and places her daughter in this beautifully carved wooden crib, and taps a little gem embedded in the headboard of the crypt. The crypt? That's the wrong word. Oh dear.
Crypt. Oh my god.
Oh,
That just got dark.
Taps this little gem embedded in the headboard of the crib, and it just starts slowly rocking on its own.
Oh, how sweet.
That's
I wish I had one of those.
Turns his face and he's like,
oh,
well, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Looking at her now, you can see that although outwardly she still has this prim and proper appearance, up close you can see there is a tiredness under her eyes. Her hair, which before was neatly plaited in elaborate braids. I am all I'm all together with my tongue today. Which before was neatly plaited in elaborate braids, is now just held back in a simple long, clipped back in a simple long circlet to just like keep it out of her eyes. She's got sort of like dark lines under her eyes. Looks tired and a little bit wan.
kids, eh? Haha. Fucking rascals. Them. Yeah. We are here for a couple of things. Mainly one thing. But first of all, we have heard there are several. You've had a lot of tieflings come here, and we might know a thing or two about that.
Yes, indeed, there have been an increase in reports of others attempting to enter our lands. They have, as is law, been rebuffed and turned away.
Yes. We know a little bit about that, and I think it is best not trying to tell you how to run, anywhere, but it might be wise to let some of them in and hear maybe what some of them have to say, as we think there is something rather bad going on in the Boron Ram Desert, something that could use quite a bit of attention.
She walks over and sits down behind a desk, pulling out a quill and opening up quite a large notebook. Inside you can see sort of pages of and tucked inside other pages and things like that. She opens to one page, looking at it, and says, "Well, we have at my orders they have been treated gently. There have been a large number of reports of women and children and things with them, but they are not above the law, unfortunately, and we have moved them on. Where they choose to go from here is up to them, but generally all were given enough supplies for a few days to see them on their way."
See.
Unfortunately, I cannot change the law.
No. I wouldn't necessarily say change the law. Like I've said, something bad is going on in the Barren Red Desert, and I know a lot of people might need some help. And in turn, they might, obviously, maybe some of these people might want their home back. But more on that later. Slightly more pressing is that, so Neo, and since we've picked up a new member of our group, Klari.
Indeed, I don't believe you've had the pleasure. I am Lady Verona.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes, and well, we would like to go to the capital of the Elven City to convene with the council about this issue in the desert who we believe is rising.
You
And see what they
speak to the Elven Council.
Yes, but obviously to do that we need to get Neo and Klari in, and we were hoping you would help us in gaining some passes, so that we may pass through the forest unhindered.
You are looking for markers.
That's it. Yes, markers, not passes. Markers. Yes.
Indeed. Generally, these are granted for services rendered. It has been some months, but I believe I can fudge things, as it were, for you.
Thank you very much.
They will take some time to prepare. Maybe 2 days to be crafted. Unlike my other lords, or some of the other lords, I do not keep a ready stack available.
That's fair.
But yes, it will. Yes, I shall send out for them. You are welcome to remain here until they are completed and delivered. I shall also write you a writ, if you would like, so that you may show it to anyone who challenges you as you
Yes.
walk about the city, if you wish to do so.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be really, really good. Thank you. Yes. Wow. This is very, very easy. I thought we were going to have to go through a lot more political and I thought we'd have to do a lot more stuff. There we go.
Nah, we're besties.
We're
You have
Tight, bro.
tight, bro.
You have, as I said before, rendered me a service that is considered. I was perhaps not as open with you as I perhaps should have been, or as clear maybe, but consider me within your debt for services rendered. You brought back treasure of innumerable value to me. Her eyes flashing past you guys to look at the softly rocking crib on the other side of the room.
Yes, she's a very cute little baby. Very cute. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. I guess we'll come back in a couple of days and.
Well, please, you will have. Please, you are welcome to stay here. I shall have rooms prepared for you all.
Thank you. Oh, very nice. I'm okay for the room. I'll be staying elsewhere. Thank you.
If that
Where the
is,
hell are you staying?
if that is your wish.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
If that is your wish, then you will be welcome here should you change your mind. And when you have your markers in a couple of days, then we shall ensure you are amply supplied before you do any. Well, what was it you said you were in the capital
Yes.
to speak to the Elven Council?
Yes. Yes. To speak to the council about this potential problem. Well, not potential, imminent problem in the desert, and to see if we can gain some support in against it.
You seek the council.
The council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seek the Great Council then.
The great
The
council.
big C.
The big council.
I see. I'm afraid you will not find them in the capital. You will have to travel all the way to Yelion for that.
Well, I thought they convened in the capital.
Where are they in Yelion?
They used to, yes. It has passed away that the capital would host the councils. However, in recent time, recent being a relative word, in the last 100 years, the Elven Council has decided to tighten restrictions, and so even the council is not invited into Themyscira.
Huh.
Are kept away at Yelion.
Why are they not? Why did they need to tighten restrictions?
You are. What do you know of our history?
Oh,
Forgive me for a blunt question, but how old are you?
not.
Not.
What?
Not probably older than you're about to tell us. Like, I think I'm in my 20s.
Yeah, seems.
Yes.
Oh, both so young.
How old is Stix? 27.
Yes, I am but a fetus.
I think you're a little bit older than that.
So small.
How old is Klari?
She's like 40 something, 50, but it's equivalent to like 20 in human years.
Fuck. Oh dang, be old.
She has lived for like 200 years.
Oh shit. And Neo here is in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely not old. Definitely not in his 40s.
Well,
Give him a cheeky wink. I see those grey hairs, my man.
In your 40s?
he sort of reaches up and starts like brushing his fingers through his hair, but he obviously can't see his hair.
Over here. For you.
How much do you know about the Great Protector?
Oh! Oh! Oh!
The Great Protector. I must admit, personally, not much. Either of you guys know? Either of you guys know anything about that?
Oh! Hold on. What the hell is going on outside? 3, 2, 1, action!
What? Can you hear people outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're being really.
It's so
I don't
funny.
know what's going on out there, but yeah, they're being annoying.
I wrote it down somewhere and I can't find anything.
If you like, you can make a history check. The Great Protector was someone that the Amethyst Dragon. So
Yeah.
Oh.
Where is it? Here?
pardon?
Or is that? No. Sorry, that was the god of the
Cult
thingy dragon.
main
Right.
undead dragon.
No
The
one.
cult.
Yeah. Oh, the cult of the dragons. They wanted to bring Tiamat back. Oh, cult of the dragon that we found in that cave. They wanted to bring Tiamat back. And then that.
So
Was it
you
dragon?
are somewhat familiar then with
Yes,
our
we
histories and being well travelled as I am guessing you are now. You will have seen that we elves are far less numerous than we once were, and far less compared to all the other races in the world, and that is why we so fastidiously defend our borders, so that they will remain our borders, and we will not lose our lands and our history.
You know what would really help? If people explained the history, because then maybe it would not be lost. Because everyone was very vague in these lands.
People are very vague around here, aren't they?
Well, it is an unfortunate side effect of said history that most who were there to experience it.
It looks like people in this land are trying to build up climactic tension.
It is an unfortunate side effect of said history that most who were there to experience it perished experiencing it. When the cult of the dragon turned the Great Protector into a Draco Lich, his might was almost indomitable. And
What is indomitable?
impossible to defeat.
Very.
And the destruction said change wrought to the land was immense. If you travel north beyond Themyscira, you will see it. Because of scorched earth, where even now, nothing, a magical sickness, its recovery, nothing will grow there yet. And the magic that was wrought in the Great Protector's destruction has left anomalies and oddities upon the world. Such magic seems to only empower the lingering spirits that remain.
So because of all this destruction, turned like north of Themyscira into a bit of a wasteland, if you will, where essentially just long story short, bad shit's happening.
Indeed.
That is a problem. Do you know if it spreads, or is it just sort of like, is there like a cut-off?
Given your conjuration outside, I think it is safe to assume that you are a lover of the forest, akin to most of us.
Yes. You'd say so.
Despite our best sages' attempts, we have not been able to make a significant dent in restoring the land that was lost.
Is there any inclination as to how one might do something like that?
I am not a knowledgeable magical practitioner. I know some rudimentary basics, although I cannot cast myself. You would have to speak to another.
Maybe a mercy knows something about that. Maybe. Alright, thank
Besides,
you.
my concerns are much closer to home. I do not often dwell on matters hundreds of miles away.
That's fair enough. This is a fucking big forest.
Indeed, that is one of the reasons why we stand where we do. Ithamel was not always a forest city like it is now. It used to stand as an outlier, a bastion of elven civilization. However, when the land was changed, it was decided to withdraw Ithamel into the protection of the forest, what lingered still after the Great Protector's destruction. And so many of our magical singers were put to work, and this branch, this arm of the forest, if you look on a map, it extends almost unnaturally down to encapsulate the forest, the city, was grown at an expedient rate.
It's kind of cool.
Indeed.
I wish I could build my own forest.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
many have the ability to shape nature to the way they see fit. Your friend here is clearly quite skilled to summon his...
I'm not really shaping nature. More like I'm pulling nature from the Feywild to here, in the form of my buddy Elvis, as you saw outside. It's less crafting and creating and more conjuring him, calling him from one place to another.
If that is how you choose to see it. To others, it very much looks another way.
That's
Mm.
And admittedly, it is pretty cool to say that I can grow an elk. But nah, when you break it down to specifics, because then that's all I can grow. That's pretty much it.
Have you tried growing anything else?
Admittedly, I haven't. But there's no need. Elvis fills every role except apparently for combatant. He's not very good at that.
No.
So true. I don't think he's hit anything yet.
He has not yet
He's been in
hit.
2 or 3 fights and he hasn't hit anything.
He hasn't hit anything.
He did hit a branch or something.
That is true.
Yeah,
at the
When
camp
Stix was trying to
once.
train him, he was prolific against a branch
Yeah.
that Stix stuck in the ground.
With my shield attached to the branch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
Give him a little bit of credit.
Oh, great! He hit an inanimate object. Oh.
He's doing well. I'm going to
He's
tell him
good.
that you said that.
He loves me. And he'll probably admit it, to be fair. Or maybe not. I don't know. He's from the Feywild. He's really weird. A good weird, though. I like Elvis.
I'm going to tell him that as well.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell Hugo that you said he smelled.
He's right here. He knows that didn't happen.
Oh, yeah? Well... Never mind.
Yeah.
Just well... It's a good thing we already know you're Lady Verona, because otherwise this would have been very embarrassing. But yes. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so we know now that bad shit's happening up north, or it has been happening for a very, very long time, in that the forest is dead. That's something I'm going to want to look into at some point. And we know that the council is actually in Yelion, not Themyscira, which is kind of good because it means we don't have to go into a big city. That was a scary prospect. But also, now we need to travel further, almost definitely around a mountain. And
Ooh, a mountain.
it's either keep in the forest, which is probably a pretty good idea, or go like skirt along
Longer
here
through.
between the Bornram Desert and the forest, that weird bit, which I feel like is potentially more dangerous, given what we know is in the desert.
But it's a shorter amount of time.
But yes, that could potentially be shorter, and because it's on just like plains, it's literally just straight. We could literally get on Elvis and almost go into a straight line from here to there.
Hmm.
So back Elvis and Lloyd, because yeah. Well, that's exciting. I can go back home.
Where do you live?
Well, the place I was sort of trained, and where I'm, meant to sort of, once I've done all of this like experience crap, where I'll essentially spend the rest of my life.
Your work experience?
Have I
I
not
didn't know I
mentioned
was supposed to fill in a timesheet or something for you.
No, it's not like work experience. I don't really know what it is, I'm going to be honest. She was very vague. She just sort of said, before you can like protect this forest, you got to go see what's outside it. So fuck off. But in a slightly nicer way, obviously.
Who said that? Zuriel?
No. Zuriel's my god. If Zuriel said anything to me, I would literally cry.
I thought that,
No,
she was giving you work experience.
my trainer, Amorous.
Amorous. Ooh,
the lady that the orc woman seemed to know a lot about, which I'm still very confused.
Yeah. Yes.
God,
How exciting.
that's my backbone. I've got a lot to tell this woman.
And ask her, because apparently she's got a different name.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about? But anyway, I'll get to that. But that's actually kind of exciting. That's actually kind of good. I can go back and speak to her. Maybe she can help us in some kind of way. Help me be stronger. Or I'll go back there and she'll say like, "All right, you're done. Stay here now." In which case I'll cry. Probably not. I don't think I'm like her level of kick-assery yet, of guardian protection.
Shall I tell her that you stole something so that she'll let you stay for longer?
No. Yes. Before we go, though, we're gonna have a conversation about all that. None of that. None of that shit. I shouldn't have been doing that. That is bad. That could.
Are you gonna go and return it?
Me. Also, no.
Okay, good.
So I feel like if I return this, then I'm just going to get thrown in prison anyway for the act of stealing it. Even though I think I gave them enough money and stuff for it in the end. But there we go. Anyway, so we're going to go to Yelion. Cool. All right.
How exciting.
So, you guys
We'll go on, boys and girls, mainly girls.
2 days before it's early evening now. You guys have a couple of days before it's estimated that you'll get your marks. Lady Verona is happy to write you a writ of passage to show to people as you go if you wish to leave. She will also invite you to dinner that evening. So you are welcome to stay here and dine with me if you wish.
Hell yeah.
Stix you did mention you had other arrangements you were making for your...
If it's 2 days, is that like 2 days, 1 night? or is that like 2 nights?
It's early evening now, so you can probably imagine that
Like
things
2
won't
nights.
be started until tomorrow,
Okay.
because
I'll-
it's early evening, so everyone will be shut. So things won't be started till tomorrow, and then it'll take like a day plus to completion. And so
Okay.
it'll be sometime, not tomorrow, the day after, that you will actually receive these things.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind that room for tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be okay.
Where are you going the next day?
I have some questions I would like to ask Zuriel. And I feel like to contact a god of harvest and nature, you sort of need to be in it. So I'm going to go out there. I won't be far.
Yeah.
Not far enough to do anything bad or for anything bad to happen. But just sort of... And this entire city is mostly made up of nature. But I just kind of feel like wanted to...
You want to be in the thick of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's...
Well, you are all shown a servant is summoned, and instructions are given for rooms to be prepared for you. You are given this written notice to allow you to travel around, and are all invited to stay for dinner.
Oh, nice. Yum.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Dinner that evening
I hope
seems to be a
They
little bit
have dessert.
of a banquet. You get the sense that it's done for you, and that Lady Verona does seem gladdened by your company. You were all summoned to this large dining room. There are several portraits and paintings and things on the wall, and there is this big, long dining room table with places for 20 people looking at all the chairs, but only 5 have been set. She is sitting at the head of the table already, and on her left side, in a little high chair, is her daughter.
So cute.
And everyone's going to take seats at the end of the table with her.
Can I request another high chair, please?
You get a rather odd look. Yes, another chair. I'm sure we can find. Why? Sort of looks around.
My child.
Do you really want to talk about now? You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Does she previously know about?
You. I did not realise you had a pet dragon.
Here. He only hatched a few weekdays, something after we met. So, you haven't been able to meet Hugo.
Okay. Why don't you put him on the chair beside you?
Yeah.
And as Hugo is sort of placed there, he just sort of curls up. But before he does so, he looks stands on the seat with his head raised, looking directly at her, and you all get this flash of images in your mind. The way he normally communicates. Sometimes he does it directly to a single person, sometimes he does it as a whole, and you all instinctively understand that he is saying hello, essentially. That's quite unusual. Hello. Hugo, I am Lady Vernon. This is my daughter Hera.
Oh my god!
Friends were incredibly helpful to me. She just sort of seems really taken aback by the whole experience. But in short order, courses are brought out, and you all begin to enjoy several courses of a rather delicious meal. This is certainly the best food you've eaten in a long time. There are rich meats and baked vegetables and greens and grains. Several fine wines are offered. And you can all enjoy a very pleasant meal. While you're eating, Lady Verona is a little bit distracted from the conversation at times, trying to feed her daughter, and one or two intervals there are certainly tiny portions of mashed potato are ejected from the vicinity.
Lovely.
Sorry, I'm not good with cutlery.
Well, it is a pleasure to, Duck's Potato, have you all here. It has been some time. I've been somewhat preoccupied, I suppose, with looking after my daughter. You know how it is. Well, I had forgotten how much time a newborn required.
How is she? Is she aging at a normal rate or at an accelerated rate?
Seems to be normal.
Ah.
But yes, it's a little more challenging on my own.
It's sad.
But anyway, please, tell me about your adventures. What have you all been up to?
How long you got? Fucking hell. God, so we finished with you, and then we went to Denderport and fought a lot of spiders.
And we met a wizard.
We met a
and
wizard.
he wouldn't let me have his hat.
He would not. Bit of a stickler on the old hat. We met.
I hear the wizards are very fond of their hats.
It seems so. Very stereotypical of them. They really live up to the hype. It was there we went to Ferry. From there we went on a boat to the Orcish lands of the Shattered Shore and Hengist Forza. We fought a big crab underwater for a while. We found a big old that was interesting. We all nearly died. That was intense.
She listens very intently as you recount your numerous adventures over the course of a course or two of this meal. Eventually, sort of, you come towards the end of your tale with you guys arriving or getting close to Ithamel, and she's sitting there with a spoon in one hand and has removed her daughter from her high chair and is just sort of dangling her on one knee, softly bouncing her up and down, while she eats, small pieces of fruit with a small spoon, and says, "Well, I expect I'll look forward to a couple of days of relaxation while your markers are created then. What is it you would like to do for a few days while you are here?"
That is a very good question. I have some. I guess people call it soul searching. I got some of that to do. It sounds very dramatic. No, I'm just gonna ask some questions. But otherwise, I'm just gonna chill. Just chill out. Be nice. Gonna sit back. Get a pipe. I don't know. I get a pipe. Maybe fun.
Gonna buy a pipe.
I might buy a pipe. I've got, the image of me sat there with Elvis in the woods, smoking on a pipe. I've never tried a pipe. Maybe it'll be nice. Maybe it'll be horrible. I don't really know. What does it taste like?
Pipe.
Pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Hickory and smoke, Neo says.
Hickory dickory dock.
Why do people breathe in
House?
Terrible for the environment. Terrible for the
Mouth.
People breathe in smoke. Oh my god. Horrible.
No, you breathe out the smoke.
So what do you breathe in?
Breathe in the hickory dickory dock.
Neo's sort of like, no, you breathe it in first and then you breathe it out.
Yeah, but you breathe something else in, then you breathe out smoke.
No, you breathe in the smoke. You don't create the smoke inside you.
Hold on. Have either of you ever actually smoked?
Yes.
No, but Hugo does quite a lot.
I trust Neo. Wait, Hugo. I don't think Hugo smokes. He doesn't smoke a pipe.
No, he just smokes from his nose.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Yes, that is slightly different. He
Acid
does
smoke.
create the smoke, but as far as I know, when others smoke, they inhale, absorb some of the substance, and then you exhale. Anyway, this is a good point to segue on to what would you guys like to do for the next 2 days?
Could we potentially also take a break for a second?
Yes.
Uh,
That is a good time to take a break, and you guys can have a little think about what you'd like to do for the next 2 days. So, let's get back into it. You guys have 2 days. Know a little bit about what Stix wants to do, but what would everyone else like to do for 2 days?
I don't know. Just hang out.
Yeah.
Just hang
If there's
out.
nothing you want to achieve, we can fast forward some of this and just skip 2 days if no one has no one has things they would like to achieve. You are in a city.
I might just keep Lady Verona company because she seems a bit lonely.
Okay. Yeah.
But
So you spend 2 days with Lady Verona, sort of. I mean, she has a little bit of times where she has meetings with the various captains of the guards and things like that. She takes time to meet merchants and other people from the city. She is, the head of a city, so she has a lot to do. But she, when she's not in meetings, she having made yourself available in this way, she seeks you out to spend time with you rather than just sort of hanging around. And she seems very keen. Her daughter she has arranged a nanny for her daughter, but whenever she comes to find you, she has always been and collected her daughter first.
No.
So wherever she goes, she's accompanied sometimes by a happy burbling baby, sometimes by an angry screaming baby. What about you?
Ooh. Like Stix in the morning.
I don't really know. Claire's default is there a library?
There is. Yeah, this is a large manor house. It does indeed have its own library.
Or just chill out in the library and read some whatever books she comes across.
Okay. Would you like to specifically research, or are you just going to browse and enjoy whatever takes your fancy?
The second one, yes, just browsing.
Okay. Yeah. You managed to entertain yourself with several nice short stories. And, so, we get to the crux of it all. Stix, what are you doing?
So first night, just chilling, just like, doing whatever everyone else is doing. But then fairly early the next morning, I'd probably head out just sort of outside the city. Not too far, but like a reasonable enough distance away where I feel like I'm outside of like civilization.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this manor house is not in the centre of the city, but it's reasonably close to the heart of it. And these cities are large, sprawling, open things, not like human cities or orc cities that are. Human cities are very dense, lots of higher buildings, from sawn timbers and stone in places, densely populated and built close together. The orc cities are dense, but that density is spread out very much along the coast, as you've experienced. Elven cities are much more dispersed. So it takes you about an hour or so, maybe a little under, to feel like you're out of the city, and then maybe another. It's up to you. You can go half hour, 2 hours.
Probably go about like about an hour. As long as I'm like still within ice, like I'd try and find like a hill or somewhere like that where I can sort of be within eyesight of it, so I'm not like gonna get lost at all, or I'm not gonna, and so I can see if anything potentially bad would happen. But also far away enough, hopefully, that
due to the nature of it being in and amongst the trees and the way it's built,
Yeah.
really possible to...
Then I'd probably just say, like, just go as the crow flies, like,
Yeah.
Stay west for like an hour, and then
Yeah.
sit.
That was going to be my next question. Which direction are you going in? West?
Yeah, just sort of deeper in, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. That's no
And like during the day, just sort of.
So you take, like, you prepare yourself, you get like a little like bag of food and things to take with you, and head out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Head out.
a good couple of hours to reach a point that you think would be nice. You find a large like oak tree or something that's slightly set apart from some of the others. There's a small clearing, maybe like it's on the edge of a small clearing or something like that, and the sunlight is softly shining down on you. You can settle yourself in the shade of this tree, a little bit warm from your exertion. But that's
Yeah. And for like the first part of the day, it's just sort of like just being, just chilling out on my own, having a bit of a chill out, relax in the open with Elvis, just sort of sat there. But then, I guess the whole point of it is to just sort of come out and ask a couple of questions to Zuriel, see if I was to get a response. The main one sort of being like obviously the whole point of Stix is that he's out here trying to prepare to then become the guardian of this ultimately quite small part of the world. Yet I think if there's one thing Stix has learned out here is that a lot of places need protecting, not just this one very small part of a forest. And as much as that's important, and as much as I guess, it could be construed it is protecting just like the forest, this whole forest, like, there is still more out there. And he's just having a bit of a crisis as like, there's like tieflings in the desert that are like all dying, and now he's finding out about like stuff like north of the forest, and yet he's expected someday to just go back and sit and guard this one part of the forest. I guess he's just having a bit of a crisis on that and hoping for a little bit of guidance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sit yourself down, you center yourself in nature, you clear your mind and try to absorb all the sights, the sounds, the smells of the trees around you. Opening your heart up to try and become one with the forest. Go ahead and make... Well, what is it? Do you have a specific question you would like to ask?
I don't know, I guess just sort of... I guess not really, it's just a little bit of like, I've got all of these questions, and currently I'm a little confused as to what is necessarily the right thing. Like I can't just abandon Aramis, and in the end, like, Amaris, sorry, and in the end, like this, my quest, my entire thing is still very important. It's still a very sacred thing that I've literally been brought up to do. But at the same time, in the grander scope of it all, is it worth it? But then also you can't save everybody, but then it just sort of sticks some time pondering these thoughts and hoping that Zuriel can give any kind of guidance, really. is there?
Go ahead and make a religion check for me.
Ooh. I'm not very good at these. No, oh gosh, a double 5. Really not very good at these.
You sit there, Stix, and you take the time to be one with nature. And you ask your questions in your mind, and your inner turmoil leads you to struggle, to focus on a question, to focus on anything. Just focus on one worry of yours. And as these questions float through your mind and they rotate around, you feel a prickling on the back of your neck. Like there is a presence there. And the wind picks up and blows through the trees. And you can see them in front of you, branches lilting softly, first one way, then the other. And although you feel this presence, the chaos within you doesn't allow you to sense yourself enough to interpret any answers that are potentially there, if any answers are coming. You're not sure, unfortunately.
That's fair enough. Yeah. And I guess after I've done, like, set out early morning, chill out for a little bit of the day, do that till late, and then head to sleep, and then early the next morning get up and head back. I guess I've done all I can. I guess just living that druidic life for a little bit. Hey.
Okay.
Finally hear myself think. It's annoying.
Make a quick survival check from your room.
You're lost in the woods.
I went only west, and yet, for some reason, I thought I went east. So I went more west. To the forbidden west. Oh. I'm really good at these. There we go.
Okay. So, the night passes, you make yourself a little campfire and find yourself a little shelter and things, and you keep watch for a while and before settling down and trusting in nature that you'll be alright. In the morning, when you wake, pack up and start heading back, you cross a path, a set of poured tracks pressed into the soft earth, and you can see a hitch in the gate of this creature. You can see it walks on 4 legs, but it is uneven. What would you like to do?
It walks on 4 legs, but it's uneven. Is there anything else to indicate that it might be injured, like any blood, anything around the area, or is it
Make an investigation check.
just a sense of this thing's slightly wrecked. Investigation. Checkaroonie. George Clooney. No, that's cure wounds. That's not investigation. Go. Go. Oh, wait. Cancel. There we go. The X doesn't work. Intimidation. Investigation. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, so you start following these tracks and looking for signs, and a few moments where the brush presses close to this animal trail, you spot a few patches of drying blood, but and bending down looking close at it, you see that this blood is not only red. You can see that there is a mixture of a white, it's like where it's been like smeared or like dragged across its leaf. You can see there are patches of red, but interspersed there are patches of this sort of white pus-like material in it. As if whatever wound this came from has also been infected.
Oh shit. Alright, yeah, I'll follow it. Considering like I was getting up early and going across and at a time, yeah, I'll spend a bit of time following. Probably like I'll give it like an hour of following these.
Okay.
Yeah,
you follow these tracks and these signs, and the blood is few and far between. It's not leaving a consistent trail. It's the main thing that you're following are these footprints, but interspersed occasionally are these sort of droplets and things like that. And you follow them for between half an hour to an hour when you start to hear this sound on the pathway ahead of you, interspersed with your own footsteps, and the soft sound they make as you walk along. You can hear this soft pad of another creature, and there is this rhythm to it, but you also pick up there is this hitch to it as well. There is one beat offset from the rest of them. And then so it's dudum, skip, dudum, skip, dudum, skip.
I'll try and get closer, but I'm gonna try and stealth it. Try and be a little stealthy.
Roll a stealth check.
Oh, this could be important. This looks like a freaking like dragon or some shit. That's injured.
No.
Dude. Oh!
You push on, and in your haste to catch up with this creature, whatever it is, you rush a bit too quickly, and you push through some quite dense brush, and there's a lot of snapping of dried twigs. And as you sort of like pull your way through, some of your clothes getting caught, and you like stumble out onto the path, you see about 20 feet ahead of you, there is a wolf.
Ooh.
There's
Arwen.
a wolf with black fur, few spots of grey in it, and you can see as it turns its head back towards you and half turns on the path, one of its rear legs is lifted off the ground, and there is what looks, you can see sort of a good maybe 2 or 3 inches of shaft of an arrow or a crossbow bolt sticking out of its rear leg.
I will cast really quick. Speak with animals.
Okay.
And
Navi disagrees.
and just sort of say, don't be alarmed. I'm not here to hurt you. You don't look okay. Can I help? Who did this as well?
Hear this growling voice has a deep, sort of powerful note to it, but it is also distinctly female in your mind. Stay back, Hunter.
I won't. Not here to hurt you. I'm very much not a hunter. Take my crossbow off my shoulder, drop it down. No hunter here.
As it hits the floor, the wolf just sort of like skips a step.
No hunter here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can be if you're thinking of anything, but I'm a friend. I'm not with the people that maybe did this to you. I can help. I think I can help you. Just give me a second.
See it sort of. There's a slight crouch to the way it is. Its hackles currently raised at the moment. It's still looking back at you. You're like them. Man. You did this.
I did nothing. I'm not like them. I'm very, very much not like them. No, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm against them, but I'm not sensitive. Say I'm not like them. I'm here to help you. So you may be injured. Or I promise I want to help.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, am I wrestling a wolf with my bare hands? I
Don't
think
wrestle a wolf with bare hands.
first I need to find a bear, then take its hands.
That is definitely a hunter thing to say. I will take the bear's hands.
Then I will wrestle you with that.
You can help.
Yes. If you just let me help, I can. I'll just need to have a look at that arrow.
Okay. What do you do?
So I would like to cast guidance on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Move up to the wolf.
Yeah.
Try and take the arrow out, and then give it tons of healing.
Okay.
As much healing as I can possibly give a wolf.
Okay. So you begin to approach, and it doesn't move as you do so. And it seems sort of. You can see its like claws are just sort of like constantly like almost like it like lifts one of the front ones and then puts it down again and then like lifts it again as if it's about to try and run. But you approach slowly and you crouch down and make a medicine check to inspect this wound.
Alrighty. Is that just to inspect it, or is that also to potentially take the arrow out?
Just to inspect it to begin with. It's an arrow. It's in there.
An arrow. It's in there. Okay. I have a plan.
You can see that the head of it has snapped off and that there are sort of like bite marks around the little shaft as if the wolf has tried to try and bite it out itself, but it's been unable to.
Okay. I have a plan. I'm going to take one of my crossbow bolts and I'm going to... Okay. This could take a while. Crossbow bolt. Produce flame. Heat the end of the crossbow bolt. And then when I take the arrow out, apply with one hand the very, very, hopefully now very, very hot arrowhead. Like just the flat of the arrowhead pressed onto the wound. And then with the other hand, slap on a bunch of lay on hands.
Okay.
Is my plan. Yeah.
Make another medicine check with disadvantage because you're not really sure anything about this crossbow bolt at the moment, unfortunately.
I did wrong on that one. Alright, here we go! And then I'm gonna add guidance. Fuck! Oh, I killed it! I killed the wolf!
So you grab this crossbow bolt
Put it in deeper.
and try and pull.
Oh my
Don't
god.
quite pull it straight out. You end up pulling at an angle, and that sort of like canting it over at an angle causes the wolf to howl in like pain, and it like turns and like not so much like
Eats you.
attacks you or claws you. It more like these wolves are big, and like the weight of it like turning on you, like and putting its paws on your chest, like pushes you over. And you start to speak with animals active.
Yeah. But it's like,
the
oh!
equivalent of wolf swearing, and
I'm sorry.
shouldn't trust man.
Should trust me. If you just give me a moment. Give me one more try. I promise it'll help. I promise it'll help.
Make another persuasion check.
Persuasion.
You just get this kind of like huff of almost like, and you get the sense of this wolf that she's tensing, but it's like a huff of a scent to allow you one more attempt.
Okay. Same thing.
Guidance, medicine
Guidance.
check. Regular medicine check this time.
Guidance. Regular medicine check. 9. Not using the guidance on that for the minute. Or am I?
I mean, all you're
Ugh.
currently doing is trying to pull this out.
So is that the medicine check to pull it out again?
If you want to assess it again, then you can.
You
Yeah, I thought you were just going to try and pull it straight out again. But if you want to take it,
Yeah, I think realistically, I've like seen as much as I can. I'm just gonna try and pull it out. So there we go, 12.
Yeah. So this time you get a better grip on it, and you brace with your other hand. You like run it down her back a couple of times before you like run it up next to the wound. And as you gently apply pressure, you can see that there is this like greenish, whitish infection in some of the flesh. And as you pull, you can you see it like very slightly opens up as you start to apply pressure out, and then you give it a big like yank, and you manage to like pull straight out, so you're not pulling at an angle. And as it comes free, she like skitters and like dances like almost like a nervous horse, like dances a few steps away from you. But you have now removed this arrow.
Okay, seeing that she's like skittering away, can I at the very, very least?
It's like an instinctual reaction, so almost like stay and like the back legs like jump a couple of paces sideways.
Okay, can I then really, really quickly place my hand on her first, and first use 5 points of lay on hands to remove. It says any disease or poison. Does that also include potentially an infection?
Yeah, it's like a poison in this
Cool.
case. So yeah, you place your hand on, and as you do so, you feel almost like a drawing in of negative energy, and you like draw it into your hand before there's like an exchange, and you push like positive healing energy back.
And then heal said wolf as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's a regular wolf. It's not got that much HP.
I think it's something like 12.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And then, if she'll let me, try and like cauterize the wound with the hot arrow tip. But if not, it's fine. I've done most.
Yeah, the magical healing seems to have done the job. You looking at it, you don't feel like it would be 100% necessary now.
Cool. I'm just gonna. This is useful.
Like quite jagged looking scar, but it now looks more like with the healing you put in, it now looks more like a several days old wound rather than a fresh one.
Awesome. There we go. See? Friend. Not man. I mean,
Food.
technically man, but not man. If you get what I'm saying.
It still has this slightly laboured breathing from the pain, like.
Yeah, you
Good hunting. And turns and just
hunting.
disappears.
Oh. There we go. That was fun.
And as you
Cool.
stand up, there is almost like a break in the clouds and a warm, comforting sunlight crests through a cloud and shines down upon you.
Stix things in his head.
Stix is in a monologue must be a sight.
It is as crazed as my own.
Oh no.
Huh. Well, I guess that kind of Well, that helped. Cool. I am going to head back now. Yes. I'm a head back to the city now. Well, the manor, I guess. Everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
How long we've got left to wait for this thing?
It takes you a couple of hours and you arrive back around lunchtime. You find Klari very engrossed in a book. She's found a comfortable chair by the window in the library where she's sitting in a warm patch of sunlight, and there is a small table next to her with 7 or 8 books on it, and you almost get the impression that there were so many books that she couldn't decide which one to read, and has been reading a little bit of all of them in turn, maybe trying to get as much as possible out of all of them.
Yeah. Very much imagining your sister here, just like she's got 2 days, but an entire library worth of books she can pick from. She just sits and reads a bit of everything.
No, we would read each one, except it only takes like an hour to read a book.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's a crazy fast reader.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Kara doesn't even look up from her book, she just waves.
Cool. I'm gonna go into town. I don't have a lot of money, but just as like a little thing. Is there like a little like wolf totem or wolf idol or something I can buy? It's like a little thing, or even like a. Can I get like a dagger or something with a wolf thing engraved on it, like a cheap little dagger, but like with a little wolf?
Yeah, you could potentially find a blacksmith who would etch something onto a weapon at your request, or you could look for someone like who was more attuned to carving and things like that. I mean, depending on what you want, if you went to the blacksmith and said you were looking for a wolf motif, they will offer you a range of things from simply etching a very basic wolf's head onto a metallic item, to carving an entire like pommel and new hilt for your sword. So you can go very simple, or so you could get a wolf's head pommel and like wolf's head little.
I'd probably go for something. There's all like nature-y and druidic, so I guess Stix would probably go for more of like a little wooden carved thing, just like a little
yeah.
Looking memory.
Yeah, you could find someone that would do little carvings and things like that. Pick that up on your way back through the city, and it'll be like a small little thing that almost like etched onto a flat piece of wood.
Yeah.
Like shaped like a wolf. Little like lines carved out of it to make an imitation of fur and things like that, and a little metal loop like punched through the top, so you could hang it on a cord or a chain if you wanted.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
But yeah, something like that would probably run you like 2 copper or something like that. A little carved wooden charm.
I will give them a whole silver because I don't like change. Change is heavy. Just take that.
How to make Stix poor? Charge him something and 1 copper. And then he'll go a whole something over just to
Like 1 gold and 1 copper. And I'm like, you know what, just take 2 gold. Fuck
I will bankrupt him.
it.
Yeah, no, you can find something like that. That'll take you a little bit of time to do. Maybe like an hour, sort of talking to a couple of people, asking, does anyone do carvings? Which way? That sort of thing. So you get back maybe slightly after lunch. This now instead.
Cool. I'll get back and just chill out with everyone else and wait then till we're all done. We're all good to go. Feeling better, I guess. A little better. Still confused, but a little confused. At the very least. Yeah.
Yeah. So around mid-afternoon, Lady Verona comes to find you, Arwen, and asks you where everyone is. Your deliveries, your markers have been finalised. If you could gather your friends, and I will hand them all off to you. There is a little bit of official business that needs to be done for such a thing. And so
Roll up.
in the study, Hera is in her cot, just softly rocking backwards and forwards, and on the desk in front of her is a fairly plain wooden box, and when you're all seated, she lifts the lid, and inside are 4 small metal discs. Each one is etched with a tree and sorry, I've lost the document where I have the description of it. So each one is etched with a little tree and a set of initials. The tree itself is this large, deciduous looking tree. It's got these large branches that wrap around, and the branches sort of wrap around from the top, so the coin isn't completely round, the edge is textured, and it has like this leaf pattern along the top edge where the branching things are, and then coming up from the bottom, almost spiraling around, are these roots, and etched in are the initials VE for Lady Verona's initials.
What's your last name?
Erlen.
Helen?
Erlen.
Erlen. E-L-E-L-E what?
E-R-L-E-N.
E-L-R...
E-R-L.
E... What? What?
E-R-L-E-N.
E-R-L.
Yes.
E-R-L...
E-N.
E-N.
Yeah. Erlen.
Erlen. Okay.
Erlen.
Got it.
Canonically, Arwen can't read.
Yeah. And in real life, Abby can't write.
And at the top of each one is a little metal. There's a little metal hole punched through them. So again, they could be worn on a little chain or a little strap, but you could wear them around your neck, you could tie them to your wrist, you could hang them from a belt, stuff like that.
Sweet. All right.
These are your markers. These are the first markers I have given out. So,
Ever.
indeed.
Is there a reason for that, or is it just because no one?
There are a few individuals who hold my my late husband's marker, but no. Other than that, these are. Do not lose them. As
Wasn't planning on it.
they are not
Best.
officially tied to you in any way, but so yes, please do not lose them.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. As I said, I am eternally in your debt for what you have done for me. I did not really wish to be a part of the outside world as a whole, but when my husband died, you have all helped me see that there is much to look forward to. So do visit often when you have the chance.
Absolutely.
Anything you need, do not hesitate to ask.
We will. Yeah, we might have to take off on that one day. Maybe. But yeah.
Sleepover.
Sleepover. Do you ever need a babysit? You know, we're pretty good at sitting. And
On baby.
well, I don't know. All I'm saying is you can turn into like a fluffy animal, and then I don't know. Neo's pretty comforting. He can like sit on his head and hold his horns. You know.
Built-in handlebars.
Exactly. How good would that be? If you gave them, if Neo was to give the baby like a piggyback on his shoulders, they've got handles. Klari can read to them. I can also be there. I can match the smell of its poops with my skunk.
Ah yes, when it shits I can make a worse smell.
Exactly. No one will even. It'll be less embarrassing for it.
But yes, please do come and stay anytime. Watch out for look after the, as I said, look after those markers. They are, as I said, the first I have created. I did not want to come up with. I've resisted coming up with my own for some time, as it felt like it would be one more little way that I was losing my husband again. But for you, for the service that you have done me and my family, you have my blessing.
Thank you.
You're so sweet.
And unless there's anything else anyone would like to do,
There is.
we will end the session with you guys heading off into the late afternoon sun.
Ooh. Sweet.
See our heroes running out.
Journey to make. Oh,
Excuse me?
we have a journey to make.
You have a
Oh.
journey ahead of you. Yes.
You know, I'm kind of happy it's not in the capital because that felt very official. And in a smaller city, this feels much less.
Well, we'll see how close we get to that next time.